Hello, can you hear me? Hi, Dean.
Yeah, can hear you now, Lyle.
Hi, Dean. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. I guess we should start with some team news. Do you have any team news for us ahead of West Ham? And in particular, how is the COVID situation in your camp?
Yeah, no, the COVID situation is good at the moment. The team news is Matthias Norman is back in rehab, which is good for us. Lucas Rupp is still out injured. Billy Gilmour has got a high ankle injury, so it's probably going to put him out for 3 or 4 weeks. He's gone back to Chelsea today for them to assess it, and I'm hopeful that he'll be back for his rehab and treatment and rehab over the next few days. Other than that, it's the normal injuries that there's no fresh injuries from the weekend.
Okay, that's good news then. And in terms of going to West Ham tomorrow, obviously they've had another strong season under David Moyes. How do you go there and go about getting positive results?
We have to go and trust in the processes that we're putting on in training at the moment. I believe that the comebacks of the likes of Tim Krul, Timu Pukki, Grant Hanley, Milot Rashica will boost the squad. I feel we've been a little bit unfairly criticised in the last 3 games where our squad has been decimated. And, the first 5 games that I saw from the players is more of what I want to see and what I expect to see against a very strong West Ham team.
Obviously, we're in the transfer speculation season. So I know you answered the question on Todd Campbell at the weekend, but I just wanted to ask you if there's been any developments there and how Todd is at the moment in terms of his frame of mind going into this game.
No, there's been no developments at all. Todd has been ill. That's why he wasn't in the squad the weekend. He didn't train yesterday. He was still feeling ill, but I expect him to train today and to be in the squad for tomorrow.
And another name, Max Aarons, we're aware of some potential interest in him. Is he someone you're expecting something to happen perhaps this month?
No, Max Aarons is, closing in on his 150th appearance for the football club. He's an integral part of the squad and one who's been playing well since I've come to the club. So, I expect him to stay.
Thanks, Dean.
Cheers.
Thanks, Lyle. Paul.
Thank you very much. Dean, you mentioned about how the weekend's win sort of broke the cycle. I wondered if you'd noticed any sort of change in the mood yesterday at the training ground after that win.
A little bit. I mean, the boys obviously came in and just done a recovery session yesterday with the game coming so quickly. But a win is a win, as they say in any sport, and that's what Sunday was for us. We needed to break that cycle. It wasn't the most fluid of performances, but watching the game back on reflection, there was a lot that I didn't like, but we created the better chances and got in the hat for the next round, and that will give the lads some confidence. But also the fact that, as I said, the likes of Timu, Tim Krul, Grant Hanley, Milot Rashica, have gone and got some minutes now and well-earned minutes, to go into this really important period we've got coming up.
Particularly Grant Hanley, Milot Rashica, have they had any reaction after their 6 weeks out with injury, having played at the weekend?
No, I spoke to both of them yesterday, and they both felt better than they expected to, having not played for a while, which was good. Milot got 52 minutes. Grant obviously played the full game, so they were in different stages of their rehab anyway. Grant had less period out and had also trained a couple of times, whereas Milot had trained a little bit less. So it'd be folly of me to think that Milot can go and play 90 minutes against West Ham tomorrow.
But how much of a boost does it give you at both ends of the pitch having those two back?
Yeah, it gives a big boost. I mean, it also gives a big boost to have Tim Krul back as well. He missed the 2 games against Palace and Arsenal. So it's good to have him back with the experience that he's got. But Grant obviously brings a lot of experience. He's the captain of the team. And Milot, we all know what a good player he is. And, I'm glad he got his first goal and hopefully he can go and get many more now.
Whenever you're in a run of results as you've had, you need personalities and characters and so on. It's also easy, I presume, for players to to get a little bit down and retreat into their shells. But I wondered if anyone has gone particularly the other way and surprised you, or especially impressed you, perhaps a young player standing up, geeing up the experienced lads. Has there been anyone like that?
I think the likes of Brandon Williams he's on loan from Manchester United, but he's just got his head down and continued to try and play well. He understands the predicament that we're in, the position we're in, and he wants to fight his way out of that. And it's been pleasing to see, to be honest.
And what about West Ham? How impressed have you been with them recently?
Yeah, I mean, that's been 18 months. I think everybody can be impressed with how they've done and the job that Moisey's done there. I think they're an excellent team. And I've said it before, I think when you go to a place and you pretty much know what the team's going to be before you go there, you know that they're on a good run, because they keep a similar 11. It's going to be testing as the season goes on for them, and Davey's already said that, especially fighting on all fronts. They got to the quarterfinals of the League Cup, and they've just won in the FA Cup. They're in Europe as well, so they've got loads of games coming up. And again, he's going to have a balancing act in terms of his squad.
That'll do me. Very best of luck, Dean.
Cheers. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Donovan. Donovan, you are on mute.
Morning, Dean.
Morning, Donovan.
How you doing? Okay. Just a couple from me. First of all, I remember when you first arrived at the club, and you talked about the stats of the players' performances and their outputs as well. Now, I know selections have been compromised because of COVID, injuries, etc., etc. But going forward, what's the sort of a non-negotiables for you in terms of performances?
The non-negotiables are the work rate and the work ethic and the togetherness that I want to see within the team. We look at the running numbers after each game, and the players know the standards that are required. There's been some games where we haven't reached them standards, but I think sometimes illness and the amount of games you play in a short period of time can affect that. But they're certainly the non-negotiables that we want at the club.
Yeah, and in terms of a venue, West Ham's the new ground. I mean, is it a venue that you like in terms of that? Because in the past, the fans have said that they're too detached from the playing action. What is it like for a coaching staff? Are you able to get your stuff across?
Well, it would be my first actual visit with the supporters there. That my last two visits with Aston Villa have obviously been no supporters, but I've got very fond memories of actually staying up last game of the season there. So hopefully, we can take them fortunes into this game.
Superb. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, Donovan.
Thanks, Donny. Ian Abrahams, please, from TalkSport.
Thanks, Daniel. Hi, Dean. How are you?
How are you, Moose? You good?
Very good, thank you. If I look at the situation the Norwich are in right now, you mentioned before criticism that the club's been getting. Can you just touch a little bit more on what you've been unhappy about regarding that criticism?
Well, I think there's a slight ignorance about the football club from people outside of Norfolk and Norwich. I looked at Liverpool last season. They were struggling to make the top four. They lost Van Dijk, they lost Alisson, they lost Gomez and a couple of others. We've played 3 games where we were pretty much decimated as a squad and lost 11 players for the Crystal Palace game, 2 subs on the 2 goalkeepers on the bench, 1 sub less than you can actually put on there. Players playing with illness. And I know it's similar for a lot of other clubs as well. But it's hard enough when you get promoted to win games with your best 11 out there in that first season back. So with 10 or 11 players out and 8 of them probable starters, it's not impossible. So sometimes context and perspective has to be put on some results. And I thought the criticism of a couple of our results was over the top.
Do you feel a bit of that criticism is unfair on you as well, because there are other clubs who are suffering towards the bottom, Burnley and Watford, who've been on an appalling run, who barely seem to get a word said against them?
It doesn't really interest me, other teams and what criticism they get. I can only comment on what I hear about our football club. And this is a well-run football club, well supported, and we've won the championship at a canter throughout the last 3 years. So we've deserved our place in the Premier League, and we're fighting really hard to keep that place in the Premier League. So the noise and what I can only describe as maybe ignorance about the football club, we have to try and shut out and concentrate on ourselves.
25 points roughly, maybe a few more from 18 games. You know, a lot of people say 2 points a game. Is it doable? You're not going to tell me it isn't doable, but you have to start winning games in the Premier League really soon, starting with West Ham, don't you?
Yeah, we understand that. We know that the next 2 weeks are going to be big for us. You know, West Ham, Everton on Saturday, and then Watford Friday after. We need to get a mini table at the bottom of the league and try and win that mini table. And so we need to start winning games. It helps when we've got players coming back. So, like I've said, Tim Krul, Timu Puki, Grant Hanley, Milot Rashika. But unfortunately, we've just lost Billy Gilmour as well for a few weeks. That's how football works sometimes. But yes, we need to start winning football games to give ourselves a good chance.
Is there a chance Billy Gilmour's loan could be ended and then go back to Chelsea, and therefore you can get another loan in as he's injured?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, I don't think the injury is significant enough for that. I believe it's an injury where he'll be assessed by Chelsea and sent back to us, and hopefully in the next 3 weeks he'll be back playing.
You've already faced West Ham once this season when you were at Villa. They won at Villa Park. And Declan Rice was absolutely outstanding, wasn't he, in that game? How highly do you rate him in terms of being one of the best players in the Premier League right now?
Declan Rice is up there with the best. I went to the Arsenal game to watch West Ham at Arsenal this season, and I thought he was excellent. He's a driving force for the team. He's got top quality. I thought Emi Martinez should have saved his goal at Villa, but he did play well in the game, and he's a top player.
And finally, listen, you got that first win in a while at Charlton on Sunday. In terms of getting that confidence and almost bottling it so the team can carry on in the same vein at West Ham, what have you been saying to them in the last sort of 24, 48 hours?
Pretty much that nobody expects us to go and do anything at the moment. So we have to put our own expectations on ourselves. There's got to be a work rate. There's got to be a togetherness. That's the most important thing at the moment. Getting our supporters on our side, having that togetherness of the dressing room, because that can certainly pull you through.
Good luck at West Ham. Well, you know what I
mean. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Ian. Dave Freeze, please, from EDP.
Morning, Dean.
Morning, Dave.
Wolves away then in the fourth round, a tough draw. In terms of timing, could that suit some of the players well who are coming back from injury, Matthias Norman particularly, but Omobamidele, Zimbo both as well? Yeah,
hopefully they'll be pushing for that game. So it's great to have that game because, as everybody knows, during this period it's very difficult to get minutes into players and arrange some friendlies with the COVID period at the moment. So it's great that we've got through to the next round where there's another game and a possibility of getting minutes into a number of players.
And just on Norman, is there any chance of him being back sooner than that, or is that about right for him?
I don't know. I've not actually sat down with our medical staff just yet. His operation's post-op probably about 2 weeks now, and he's jogging now, which is good, and he's jogging pain-free, so hopefully we can push on from there.
Can just check on Milot Rashica as well. Obviously got his 45 minutes on Sunday. Is he okay to start now, or is that still a bit too soon?
Yeah, no, hopefully he can start. He was a little bit stiff, obviously, after the game, but he'll put himself in the window to start the game, that's for sure. It'd be silly of me to expect 90 minutes from him. But he certainly put himself and held his hand up there to say he could start.
Good. With everything that you've said so far this morning, is this current period almost a chance to say to the players that you can wipe the slate clean? You had sort of 10 days without fixtures. Now you start the second half. It's very clear what you've got to do. Can you almost give them a bit of a fresh start?
Yeah, well, I felt when I think it was the Leicester game that got cancelled, that we could actually press the reset button and refresh ourselves. we've got the victory, which is what we needed to do against Charlton, and now it's some real intense football now. West Ham, a real strong West Ham team and a tough game to play, but we have to go there with belief. We've got some big players back for us, which is good, and then we've got Everton at home on Saturday and Watford. So it's a real vital 3 games for us, and the players are ready for it now.
I was interested to get your thoughts on Ozan Kabak. He seemed to be a bit more settled in the second half after maybe a few erratic moments in the first. He tweeted after the game that was his 100th game of competitive football. He's still 21, and obviously they're all at a good level as well. So he's achieved a lot for his age. How do you sort of see his progression? Is it almost that he just needs to stick to the basics, because these charging runs are all sort of well and good, but they don't tend to come to much, to be honest.
No, we're working with him to help him improve as a player, both tactically and technically. As you said, 21 years old, and to have already, played 100 games at a very good level with not just ourselves, but Liverpool in the Premier League as well. We're working with him. We want to make him a better player. We want to help him, and he's certainly open to improvement.
On a similar vibe, is sort of three at the back in your mind at all ahead of this game? Norwich earlier in the season under Daniel had gone to a 3 and gone and ground out a 0-0 draw at Burnley, which sort of kick-started the progression for them. Is that something which is sort of at the forefront of your mind?
We went 3 at the back against Tottenham, and I thought we played really well there. You have to get the balance right to go and play that system. So it's something that we've been looking at, and a couple of formation changes are in our mind.
Okay. The lads who came off at half-time on Sunday, Dowell, Jolis and Yanulis, that's sort of a chance missed for them to impress, certainly. What more do you need from those 3 in particular?
I just felt, they needed to make more impact on the game on Sunday at Charlton. Dimmy had made a mistake, and it probably affected him more than it should have done. Mistakes happen in football, and it's always what you do next. And I just want more of an impact. And I thought the subs came on and made that impact, and it was what I'd asked for. So, listen, the players know themselves that it wasn't the best performance that we could have had certainly for 30 minutes of that first half. And, they'll be ready to prove people wrong as well. And more than prove me wrong as well.
Okay, and just finally, tomorrow night, if he plays, will be Max Aaron's 150th appearance for the club. He's been a real consistent player ever since he broke through at 18. How far in the game do you think he can go? I think Norwich fans are probably at the point where they expect he might move on at some point, whenever that may be. But he's achieved a lot similarly to Ozan. How far in the game do you think he can go?
He's older than Ozan as well, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
But he's a talented footballer. I've been really impressed with his mindset, his defensive capabilities. I think he can improve his final ball in the final third that we keep speaking to him about, and he's working at. But again, he's another one who's coachable. He wants to learn. He wants to get better, and when you've got coachable players, it certainly helps.